Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
Now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
You provide a definition for the word woman.
Can I provide a definition?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
I'm glad I wasn't that ignorant before I got married.
The meaning of the word woman is so unclear.
Can you imagine my honeymoon night? I'd be like, I can't tell if you're a girl or not.
And controversial that you can't give me
Lord.
a definition.
Senator, in my work
This is a Supreme Court justice now, by the way.
as a judge, what I do is I address disputes. If there's a dispute about a definition, people make arguments, and I look at the law and I decide. So I'm not.
The fact that you can't give me a straight answer about something as fundamental as what a woman is underscores the dangers of the kind of progressive education that we are hearing about.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a case in front of the Supreme Court today that is about men who can't compete with men in sports becoming women to compete and beat the snot out of them. Yeah, and they have no regard for the women who are in the sports. It does not matter at all. They've completely abandoned common sense and reason altogether. By the way, I believe the case is PPV-9A is what it is. It's PPV-9A. That's what I'm going to call it, because that's how I explained it to my kids when they were toddlers. I said, if you got a PP, it means you're a boy. If you got a 9A, it means you're a girl. But this is how separated from common sense that the Democrat Party is. If you believe absurdity, you'll commit atrocity. And this has been going on for how long? How long has this idiocy been going on, that we have devolved so much as a culture that the Supreme Court has to decide what a man and a woman is? And we've got a Supreme Court justice who made it onto the Supreme Court, who could not answer what a woman is, which is an adult female. My God in heaven. I mean, honestly, if you believe this, then if you go to a dog shelter, you should not care whether the dog is male or female. You could just identify either dog as either sex. If you want a female dog, the dog can have testicles and a penis. And if you want a male dog, the dog can have a vagina. That's how stupid this is. This is why I came up with the expression, don't catch the stupid. Because when the virus was unleashed on America intentionally by China working with the United States, you can't say that. Yeah, I can. And they released it. I said, if you believe that wearing a paper mask to prevent the supposedly deadliest virus that has ever attacked America, then you believe that wearing a cowboy hat would protect you and help you breathe if you go scuba diving. If you believe that you stand 6 feet from someone versus 4 feet from someone, you will not get COVID. I mean, honestly, you've caught the stupid. And if you believe any of this mania about men becoming women, women becoming men, you have caught the stupid. I mean, for years, my kids and their friends have said that I am somehow transphobic. Because I don't believe that children should be sexually mutilated and spend their lives as eunuchs pretending to be the opposite sex. And literally 5 years ago, when I said that, I mean, people just go bananas on me. But it's always been true. It's always been true. My daughter, when she was applying at art school, and she was looking for a roommate, and I said, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to help you pay for your apartment. But if you choose a roommate who on their social media status says non-binary, I'm not going to. And she said, well, why is this? And I said, because non-binary didn't exist 5 years ago. It is nonsense, and it proves that the person who wants to be your roommate is insane. That's all. That's it. Much more coming up. This is Jim Gossett, something we've been playing 4 years on the Rob Carson Show.
I am woman, not a man, despite this new transgender ban. Though my voice is deep and I've got facial hair.
Sounds like a girl, right?
They ban me, but I'll be back. Bravery I do not lack. You don't have to tell me to grow a pair.
Because you already got them.
Oh, yes, I'm a girl. Against women I compete. People want to hurl when I win another meet. Swimming medals, I will steal all of them.
Steal all of them.
I have a beard. I've got testicles.
Got testicles.
I am woman.
Yeah, women have testicles. Everybody knows that.
Penis says that I can't swim. They claim that I am a him.
Yes.
But I'll be back. Just you wait and see.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh, yes, I'm a she. I even wear a dress, though it's no mystery. The whole package I possess. But they banned me from everything.
From everything.
I have a
brawn.
I have a prostate gland.
Prostate gland.
Woman.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because some of the same extreme dynamics that happen with the left also happen in radical Islam. It's very real, you know. They call it the green-red revolution because they're so very similar. For instance, in some sub-Saharan and even, I should say, North Saharan Middle Eastern countries, they do a thing called female circumcision where they destroy the genitalia, the exterior genitalia of the woman, so that they become non-sexual beings, unable to experience pleasure whatsoever. And they do chest binders. And the left, when girls decide they're going to become boys, wears chest binders and then get surgery on their genitalia, and they fashion a phallus from the skin on their arm or leg and dangle it between their legs like an ear waiting for transplant. And then, of course, they also, in radical Islam, the imams preach that the underlings should sacrifice themselves for the cause, but the imams would never consider doing such a thing. The imams would never put a suicide vest on and run into a synagogue and blow themselves up. But the same thing's happening in Minnesota when they say, you should be willing to go get shot in the face by ICE. Do you understand? Do you understand what's happening here? The insanity that is happening here. And as I watched the news, I was watching the news last night, I was watching all these idiots in Minnesota attack ICE agents and everything, and I was hoping that Donald Trump would send our military in there with some of those weapons they used when they went after Nicolas Maduro. They have this apparently this sonic boom weapon that just completely makes your head feel like it's going to explode. And I just want them to go in just with a few Marines and fire that at some of these idiots to smack a little sense into their heads because honestly, it is just ridiculous. It's a temper tantrum of insanity by children who believe that ICE agents for going after illegals in the country are somehow Nazis and that girls can become boys. Honestly, the left and the Democrat Party are insane. There you go. I mean, honestly, just friggin' insane. Completely insane. If you're still a Democrat in good standing, what the hell are you thinking? Because utterly ridiculous. A couple of things, just a sad note. Scott Adams passed away. Let me throw that out there because, I got to tell you, we're all going to face this eventually. And we're not used to generally people sharing their expiration so openly until the very last day. I mean, he was on talking on social media about everything. Had Greg Gutfeld on earlier this week, and he was still laughing and everything. And I give the man an extreme amount of credit for doing what he did. And he suffered a lot of slings and arrows because of his political ideology, and he converted to Christianity before he passed away, and I just think he's seems like a hell of a good guy, and I'm sorry for his loss. I thought he was a very interesting character, and again, we're all going to get there eventually. I just kind of am disappointed that Joe Biden promised that he would cure cancer when he was the president, and clearly it did not work. It is, and that's not a joke, by the way. That is not meant to be a joke in any way, shape, or form. Joe Biden promised America that he would cure cancer when he was elected. He promised that he would do it. He used cancer and the possibility of a cure for cancer for a decade as a way to raise money. He had a charity that did nothing but pay its principals lots and lots of money. And the cancer moonshot, it was all a bunch of crap because he's a liar. He's a filthy, stinking liar. And I will tell you also, we all have people in our lives who have passed from cancer. And I am hoping and praying that someday we will find a cure. I have a feeling when we lean into this quantum computing that is coming, when it does eventually launch, there are some scary things associated with quantum computing, including infinite knowledge, which is God, essentially. Kind of frightening, but at the same time, there's also the possibility that it could cure cancer in minutes. So let's hope that actually happens. And I hope we see it in our lifetime. I'd love to see it in the next few years, because I'm just sick and damn tired of cancer taking away the lives of so many people who I love and you love and we love all together. Bill and Hillary have refused to testify in front of the House Oversight Committee, daring Chairman Comer to hold them in contempt of Congress. Jimmy, it's time to put your money where your mouth is and hold them in contempt of Congress. I would love to. And Democrats are always saying that no one's above the law, no one's above the law. And even Hillary has said nobody is above the law. And so I think we should do a Steve Bannon or a Peter Navarro and put him in jail for a few months for contempt of Congress. I mean, I'm absolutely serious, by the way. They were more than willing and wanting and praying to put Donald Trump in prison for life like they're doing Jair Bolsonaro in Brazil. They did the same thing to him as they wanted to do to Trump, but Trump, of course, won. So the Democrats had no compunction about taking Donald Trump's fortune, taking his freedom, and taking his life. So I would love to see Hillary Clinton in an orange jumpsuit in prison for a few months, and I would love to see the reaction from the left, because we've been waiting a whole hell of a long time to give them a little what for. There you go. All right, so we've got a lot of stuff on the show today. I want to talk about what I told you when Kamala Harris announced she was going to be the president, that she was going to run for president, that her constituency is crazy cat ladies and the emasculated men who love them. That's exactly what is happening in Minnesota. It is becoming very clear that the Democrat Party and the Marxists and communists are using insane liberal women subject to social contagion, and that's really the root cause of all of this nonsense. We're going to get to all of that as the show progresses. The number is 800-922-6680, and this is the Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson from Birch School.
Winning and never losing, results that drive Nancy Pelosi to boozing, Chris Christie choking on buffalo wings. These are my favorite conservative things. Gas prices falling, inflation dropping, to our momentum there is no stopping. An end to 8 wars, what joy that brings. These are a few of my favorite things. Reducing spending, securing the border, restoring faith in law and order, favorite conservative things. When Chuck's humor makes me nauseous, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember we're bombing drug folks, and that I don't feel so bad.
I am woman, not a man, despite this new transgender ban. Though my voice is deep and I've got facial hair, they ban me, but I'll be back. Bravery I do not lack. You don't have to tell me to grow a pair. Oh yes, I'm a girl. Against women I compete. People wanna hurl when I win another meet. Swimming medals, I will steal all of them. I have a beard. I've got testicles. I am woman. Venus says that I can't swim. They claim that I am a him. But I'll be back. Just you wait and see. Oh, yes, I'm a she. I even wear a dress, though it's no mystery. The whole package I possess. But they banned me from everything. I have a brawn. I have a prostate gland, woman.
Karen Intifada.
The Rob Carson
Media.
Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
Media flooded with leftist white women.
I wish ego death upon every one of you.
This is a Karen Intifada.
It's Civil War time.
Maybe it'll help if you yell at us.
It is time to fight!
Maybe you gotta up your diazepam.
Are we great yet? Are we f***ing great yet? Are we a great country? Is this one is f***ing great? Are we f***ing great yet?
These hysterics are amusing.
I'm not afraid of you. Also, Emmy wanted to tell you to off.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to put it on the line.
Yeah.
All of whom are unattractive.
Yeah, well,
most of whom are overweight.
Yeah, sure.
The vast majority of whom clearly have no jobs.
Woo! Yeah, that is Megyn Kelly talking about the insane liberal Karen. And I want to say something real quick. Gen Z apparently is looking for their own version of Karen. They're using the word Jessica. I don't particularly care to just go after a woman's name because there's no male equivalent. Is there a male equivalent of Karen? What is a male equivalent of a Karen? Is he the kind of feminized leftist who shoots his mouth off and makes all sorts of threats? What's his name? What is his name? What do we call him? So I'm not going to go after Jessica, although I have a feeling they came up with the word Jessica because of Jessica Tardlove on the 5 on Fox. But I do apologize for a woman named Karen. It just kind of took hold. The whole thing just kind of took hold. We knew what Karen was all about. Karen is a insane cul-de-sac-dwelling, frequently woman who is unhinged, who is susceptible to social contagion. They're fine with books in kindergarten about boys becoming girls, and they're down with the whole transgender nonsense. They fall for every social contagion possible. They're the ones who tell you, "Why aren't you wearing your mask?" And by the way, they still wear them here. They still wear surgical masks when they're out and about here where I live in Northern Virginia, across from Washington, D.C. They still do. I was at this wonderful, wonderful restaurant on Sunday morning, had a little brunch action, and there were two of these purple-haired, non-binary morons standing right next to us as we were waiting for a table. And I made sure to be heard when I started a conversation with my party. And I said, holy crap, guys, is there another strain of COVID that I didn't know about? I certainly wouldn't want to catch that new strain of COVID and get sick because, maybe I should be wearing a mask. And they kindly asked the woman at the front desk, they said, I think we'll wait outside. And I said, well, good, because I wouldn't want to catch any COVID or anything. And they walked out. I'm done. I'm done with this nonsense. I'm done with the nonsense. I'm done with the bull crap. I want to punch people back in the face. I want to take Karen screaming at me and just plant my palm on her forehead and just give her a shove and knock her right on her ass. That's what needs to happen to these Karens in Minnesota who are screaming at ICE and saying, shoot me in the face. They are the Chihuahuas on the other side of the fence of the pit bull, and it's about time we took down the fence. It's about time we took down the fence. Here is Anderson Cooper last night. There's been a lot of talk about this insane liberal Karen, who used to be kind of a normal woman. I guess she'd been married to two men and had two children. She lost custody of those two children because she's freaking insane. And she has a son, and of course, she was so irresponsible and stupid to get involved in this she's probably anti-ass too, anti-ICE movement, and she moved her kid, uprooted him, took him to Canada because Donald Trump got elected. Then she and her wife came back here, and she didn't have a job, and she spent the day after dropping the kid off at the imam at the madrasa for leftists, and she would go out and she'd interrupt police officers and ICE agents. And apparently Renee Good was part of a de-arrest primer manual that teaches its members and supporters how to physically interfere with law enforcement arrests. So, you know what? She's cannon fodder. I told you this. There's this group, Minnesota ICE Watch. The group operates under a banner of autonomous collective, the warmth of collectivism, documenting and resisting against ICE police and all colonial militarized regimes. The same bullcrap they're teaching your kids in college. She attended regular meetings, received thorough training from ICE Watch, outlines 4 tactics for interfering with an arrest officer, such as the best kind of grip to use while yanking someone in custody out of their hands, or even suggestions on pushing and pulling an officer. There you go. Pressuring cops to simply release individuals they've taken to custody by totally surrounding the officers. The manual claims that being arrested can give drastic negative life-altering effects, especially for targeted populations like people who aren't white, Muslims, LGBTQ, RST, UV, WXYZ, and certain radicals. So there you go. She was trained to do this stupidity, and she ultimately served as cannon fodder, and everybody knows that it was her fault. Even Anderson Cooper.
Your own analysis of 2 of the videos, starting with one that's filmed from further away but seems to show contact between the car and the officer. According to your analysis, because there were questions last night of were the shots fired were any shots fired before the officer made contact or once the officer had made contact with the vehicle?
Yeah.
You've enhanced a version of the video which you slowed down. From your experience, what does that show?
Well, the slowed down version is showing me that when the SUV pulls forward, they make contact with the agent, and then immediately following that contact, you hear 3 gunshots fall.
Yeah, there you go. So that's Anderson Cooper having to admit that it was her fault and she's cannon fodder, and that's what they treat her as, you see, because they use these trigger events. They tried it with, they did it with George Floyd. He died of a drug overdose. They tried it with Mike Brown. They did it with the Covington kids. They did it with Kenosha, the whole thing. They're always wrong. They will never admit they're wrong, but even if they're wrong, they use it to inflame their base and cause violence because their base are ignorant, insane, crazy cat ladies and their emasculated husbands.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Quince.com. Colder days mean layers, and your winter wardrobe may have you considering a winter reset. I went to a jazz club the other night wearing a Quince tee, another shirt over it, and a Quince wool jacket. A woman said, "You look fine." I mean, it blew me away. I've spent every dime for my kids and my wife for 25 years. Now I feel confident and I look good with Quince. I couldn't believe it. Quince has everything you need. Men's Mongolian cashmere sweaters, wool coats, leather, and suede outerwear. Each piece made with premium materials by trusted factories that meet rigorous standards. No middlemen means no traditional markups. The wool coat I wore to the jazz club the other night turned heads, cost less than I paid elsewhere. You can also find anything for your home, including kitchen, bath, and even for travel. Refresh your wardrobe at Quince. Go to quince.com/Newsmax. That's QUINCE.com/Newsmax for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Newsmax. That's quince.com/Newsmax.
We're sinking vessels, one's loaded with drugs. Mow the boat down. With U.S. airstrikes to target the thugs. We think's it's time to mow the boats down. Narco-terrorism we won't tolerate. Mow those boats down. Stop your drug traffic before it's too late. Otherwise, we'll mow your boat down. Shape up Venezuela or we might attack. Maduro, we will take down. Drug boats you're sending will never come back. We'll sink them all and watch the men drown. We know who you are, we'll mow your boat down. Won't get very far, we'll mow the boat down.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Relief Factor. You know, I saw an ad for Relief Factor a while back, and I saw a guy literally in tears with how he talked about the pain that he was experiencing was gone. It happened to me too. I started it taking a few months ago. My hip was really bothering me, and I wondered, because I'm the age of, replacement of joints and whatnot, if it could be better. And I started taking Relief Factor, and it healed. It's a 100% drug-free, research-based formula created to help your body's natural inflammatory response, the same one that causes everyday aches and pains from aging, exercise, overexertion, and just normal living. It helped me with my hip, my neck, my shoulders, all the places that remind you you're not 25 anymore. Relief Factor supports a healthy response to inflammation, helping you stay active and keep those joints and muscles feeling good. It's made with 4 key ingredients: omega-3 fatty acids, resveratrol, curcumin, and icariin, each one helping from a different angle. You can start with the 3-week quick start for just $19.95. That's less than a cup of coffee a day. So if you're tired of creaking like an old floorboard every time you move, give Relief Factor a try. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com and feel the difference. Relief Factor, because getting out of bed shouldn't count as a workout.
First of all, the Fed is politicized. Chairman Powell is the worst Fed chair since Arthur Burns, and he is the poster child for politicizing the Fed. The only reason why he's still there is because he papered over the fiscal irresponsibility of Joe Biden and got America into an inflation crisis that President Trump is in the process of curing. So spare me on that. I mean, look, it looks like there's like luxury elevators and dining rooms. He claims that the thing was never renovated before, when in fact it was. Powell gets up there and says it's politicized and it's the tariffs that's the problem, why the costs went up. Hey, come on, Jay. Do your job. Since you got there, you made 3 major blunders that have cost this economy $1 trillion easily. We know he made false statements. The only question is whether he was aware and did it with malice. And think about that. If he was ignorant about it, that tells you how ignorant he is when he runs Fed policy.
Yeah, of course, Jerome Powell put out a desperation video on Sunday saying he was being persecuted, etc., which I don't personally think is a very good sign. It shows that you're trying to hide something. But hey, let's ask Doug Burns that, shall we? Doug Burns, former federal prosecutor. Man, I just love to have a day we don't have anything to talk about.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's unbelievable. Never a dull moment, as they say.
I swear to God. So the Trump administration is saying that they started looking at Jerome Powell, these cost overruns on the Fed building. And I mean, of all the people you want to take on a tour of your federal building being rebuilt and all of that, one of the biggest developers in world history is not one. And clearly Donald Trump saw billions of dollars in cost overruns and said, what the hell? Jerome Powell freaked out, said he was being indicted. And this morning, Judge Janine Pirro, who I would love to have be my girlfriend, said the word indictment has come out of Mr. Powell's mouth. No one else's. None of this would have happened if he would have responded to our outreach. The office makes decisions based on the merits, nothing more, nothing less. What are your thoughts on Jerome Powell, why they're going after him, and why he put out that video on Sunday?
Well, it is true that when you're given an opportunity, to come in, sit down, explain, and then you just don't do that, that you may pay a price on that. I mean, look, the way I look at it is, first of all, I break it down into the political side of the discussion and the legal side. The legal side's very easy, which is, at this early stage, I don't know exactly what they're investigating, but I'm pretty good at guessing after 40 years, and I'm guessing that it has to do with false testimony about the renovation to the building.
Yes.
And again, that goes right into the political side, which is the hypocrisy, which is they had zero hesitation about foaming at the mouth on liberal cable about how serious it is, and it undermines everything, and the world's going to stop spinning when people lie under oath. But now all of a sudden it's like, oh, no big deal. It could also be on the merits of the overruns, but at the same time, and I'm not being sarcastic, it's not a crime to, completely mismanage, a project. You made a great point, which is him standing next to Trump, and we all remember that famous exchange. I couldn't believe it, where he says, that's not true, and then Trump pulls out a sheet of paper from his coat pocket, and he goes, yes, it is. I have it right here on paper. And that was just embarrassing. So the point is, again, it's a Rorschach test. One side's going to say, totally legitimate investigation as to whether he lied, totally legitimate investigation as to these insane cost overruns. And then the other side is going to look right in the camera and say, no. As we all know, he can only fire him for cause, right?
Yes.
We've heard the legal experts explain that.
Yes.
So isn't this a cute maneuver? We're going to say he's under investigation. I'm laughing. And then fire him for cause, Rob.
Well, here's the problem. He's going to be out in May.
Yeah, that's true. But he's still a governor, apparently. And I'm not the big expert on this, but I believe he remains on the Board of Governors till 2028.
Really?
Not sure, how that tracks versus being the head. But the fact of the matter is that, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to see Trump calling him too late, Powell. He's incompetent.
Yeah.
And it's just escalated to this point. I really don't know and I don't want to jump over skis in any direction.
Sure.
How viable this criminal investigation is, you got to give it time.
All right, so Bill and Hillary have refused to testify in front of the House Oversight Committee, daring Chairman Comer to hold them in contempt of Congress. Hillary Clinton herself has said that no one is above the law. No one is above the law. The Democrat Party, no one is above the law. They had no compunction about putting Steve Bannon in jail for the same thing, putting Peter Navarro in jail for the same thing. What do you think needs to happen? I would love to see what Hillary looks like in an orange jumpsuit.
Well, you laid it out exactly right. I mean, Navarro, Bannon, again, the foaming at the mouth, the pompous lecturing of us. How can you possibly have a society where people are just going to disregard subpoenas? And these people are so deranged, it's unbelievable, that when it's done by their heroes, the Clintons, then it's perfectly fine. I mean, it's just remarkable. But the point is, Comer's going to press it. The contempt issue, and we'll see what happens.
I hope so.
There's a new sheriff in town in the Department of Justice. Obviously, they're the ones through the United States Attorney's Office, Janine Pirro, et cetera, who decides whether to actually bring a contempt prosecution. That's getting way ahead of ourselves for the moment. But again, they better be careful because, look, you can't work both sides of the room.
No.
They both graduated Yale Law School. Obviously, they know that if you're given a subpoena, you have to show up.
Well, they had no worry whatsoever. No Democrat had any thought about putting Donald Trump in jail for 700 years, Doug. Exactly. They would have done that 700 years in prison. They would have taken his fortune. They tried to take him off the ballot. Ultimately, their unhinged rhetoric caused two insane people, the same people who are going after ICE agents in Minnesota to try to assassinate Donald Trump. It's about time we took the damn gloves off.
Well, I want to go back to the taking them off the ballot because that was the most ridiculous exercise I ever saw. I don't often use names, but I'm going to use one now. Lawrence Tribe, constitutional law professor from Harvard Law School, and he looks right in the camera and says that Trump can be taken off the ballot by the state of Colorado, if I remember that correctly, when the most first-year law student in constitutional law knows that the 14th Amendment said that it has to be done by Congress, not by a state. Yeah. And the Supreme Court ruled 9-0. That tells you a lot, by the way, in the climate that we're in. Yeah. So, again, when you have people who are going to just delusionally sell out legal analysis, it just becomes a breathtaking situation. But I'll tell you what, this hypocrisy is unbelievable. You and I discussed, the stuff with Epstein photos. Yeah. When it's a Democrat, it means nothing. When it's a Republican, they're a pervert and a pedophile. And it just goes on and on and on and on. I think people are getting tired of it.
Oh, I think we are too. I think we're tired of the nonsense today. In front of the Supreme Court, they are discussing whether boys can become girls and compete with girls in sports and beat them. Oddly enough, it never happens the other way. You never see the born girl become boys. And if I'm not mistaken, there are no transgendered men in the NFL, NHL, MLB.
Well, you completely read my mind because in preparing to speak to you, it popped into my head like a light bulb went off. I said, wait a minute, let me take a look quickly and see if it were in reverse and somebody transitions to a woman, are they knocking down the doors trying to compete in men's sports? Of course not. And by the way, that cements the point, which is that there's a fundamental difference. To me, real quick, Rob, it's a factual case, not a legal case.
Of course.
And the issue could not be simpler, and that is if somebody transitions, to a woman, but retains biological advantages which gives them an unfair advantage against females, then they should not be allowed to do it. This is not rocket science.
Yeah, and I use the example because I was a shot putter, by the way, in the U.S. Olympics. Okay, the men and women, the record shot put toss is about the same distance. I think it's 85 feet. The only problem is the woman's shot put is 8 pounds and the men's is 16. So there is that. I want to talk on the other side of the break. What's going on in Minneapolis, among other things. Also, by the way, Donald Trump and Kristi Noem have ended temporary protected status for Somalis in the United States, and thousands must leave by March 17th. I love it when they take the gloves off. More with Doug Burns coming up. This is The Rob Carson Show.
Now back to Doug Burns'
Yes.
law.
Yes, Burns Law.
Without due process as a citizen, isn't that what the Second Amendment was written for?
We have to show up with guns. We have to. There's no other way around it. There's no waiting to the ballot box. We need to get to the bullet box. People need to show up with guns to face you guys. We got your time for an armed resistance against the United States of America.
Yeah, we know now that the woman who attempted to run over the ICE officer and was shot through the windshield, which is a good sign that the cop was in front of your car as you started to drive away. She'd actually been through training. This is an armed insurrection. This is certainly a violent insurrection. It's being bought and paid for by NGOs, by the left, by Neville Singham and others. And it is not protected speech. Doug Burns Law on Twitter, on the Newsmax Hotline. Your thoughts on this, Renee Good? Will the police officer be indicted, and is this speech protected, and what do we do about it?
Well, first of all, everybody jumped all over the skis incorrectly. It was just breathtaking. The worst possible examples was Mayor of New York City, Mamdani, calling it a murder, Elon Omar jumping right in. Ridiculous. Legally, so everybody's clear, if an individual is in reasonable fear for their life or serious bodily harm, it's interesting that it's not just your life. That's an important legal point. Sure. Then you can respond with the force presented to you with commensurate force. You can debate the case, but what happened was there was a misimpression left. It was interesting. And I was in a case, and I'm going to explain it very quickly. People will find it interesting. I was in a self-defense case where somebody came home, found a friend literally in bed with his wife. Then a gun materialized. The guy who had been in bed with the wife was backing the car, and the defendant shot at it. But the shots were in the side of the vehicle, which really made the defense very, very hard. Here, I saw a photo of a shot, and I was so glad to hear you say it, right through the windshield. That's critically important because it obviously demonstrates that the car was coming right at the officer when he shot. All of the problems eventuated by a combination of a weak video and a Rorschach test factor. The weak video was it wasn't clear until the last split second that there was a second officer in front of the car, and everybody Rorschach test only wanted to see the officer off of the driver's window, okay? And the point is, no, she accelerated the car right at the officer.
Is he going to be indicted?
The point is, I wasn't avoiding your question. I do not believe he will be indicted for two reasons, legal and then factual. Legally, you have questions of immunity. Federal officer in the exercise of their duties is immune from state prosecution. Supremacy clause, federal law is supreme. But then factually, and this is better news for the defense, it's almost impossible to indict this case when the woman was gunning her car right at him.
Yeah, and this is a twofold thing. They're looking for a trigger. The left looks for triggers. They had George Floyd. Yeah. They had Trayvon Martin. Yeah. They had, they've gone again and again and again and again. They look for a trigger to start saying, it doesn't matter if it's factual. Anymore, Doug, it doesn't matter if it's factual. They are still diverting. They are still pivoting, even though that she actually ran out the police. It doesn't matter. ICE is evil. ICE are murderers, all of that.
Here's a very good tip for your vast audience. When you watch these people try to tap dance around these type of issues, say to yourself over and over again, are they talking about the facts or are they diverting and talking about something else? And time again, you'll see them diverting and deflecting and trying to talk about something else, which is a key test. I mean, lawyers always have that phrase, if you have the facts, talk about the facts. If you have the law, talk about the law. That type of thing. But here, time and time again, I have a cousin who graduated Harvard Law School, jumped in foolishly and said, sure looked to me, posted this on Facebook, sure looked to me as though the woman was simply driving away. He hadn't seen the video where the police officer, the agent, was standing right in front of the car.
I know, but it still doesn't matter to the left. Trust me on this.
They don't care.
I have somebody in my life.
Even better, which is they simply don't care.
I have somebody in my life, I'm telling, and I finally said, I'm done. I can't have a conversation with you. Shut up. Talk about something else. How about vanilla ice cream? Dear God, are you kidding me? A couple of things going on here. They're trying to cover up, they're trying to stop all of the deportation of all the illegals who came here illegally, and they're also trying to cover up massive fraud in the state of Minnesota. Scott Besson is going at this in twofold. He's going after the people who are funding these protests. That's number one. That's number one. And then you've got the federal government, the DOJ and the FBI coming in, and the DHS, and going after these illegals and uncovering the crime. This is unbelievable. There's so many fronts in this in Minnesota.
Well, yeah, again, we go right back to the hypocrisy playbook, which is them lecturing us when it suits them. Sunlight's the best disinfectant. Okay, fine. Well, we're going to apply that rule now, and we're going to put sunlight on the fraud that took place in the state. Two different categories, those who perpetrated the fraud against the programs, and then the Rob Carson point, which is, well, wait a minute. What about public officials who knew about it, looked the other way? What about whistleblowers who stepped forward and were ignored?
Doug, they knew it was happening. You don't watch it. It is cut. Do you think that Tim Volz and Keith Ellison are going to face criminal charges?
Probably not.
Oh, dear God. Why the hell not?
For the same reason that Rob Carson bemoans every day of the week, which is, you say, oh, yeah, we shouldn't have two tiers or standards of justice. Well, guess what? Welcome to the party. There are two different standards.
Unbelievable. By the way, one other thing. Grand jury ordered impaneled in Fort Pierce, Florida. Crossfire hurricane and the Ray Mar-a-Lago under scrutiny may explain Obama's frequent trips to UK over the last year. What's going to happen here? We talk about this grand conspiracy against Trump. Go ahead.
Very good development, obviously, grand jury. And by the way, there are emails, this is key, internal FBI emails saying they did not think they had probable cause to do the search. Yes. Not to be melodramatic, that search of Mar-a-Lago was the most outrageous law enforcement maneuver I've ever seen in my lifetime.
Well, I got to tell you, I just pray for that. I'm just sick, and I think the American people are sick and damn tired of people in power getting away with this nonsense. But I do appreciate you, as always. Nothing to talk about. Maybe next week we'll just talk about,
like a rapid fire session.
I swear to God.
I enjoyed it.
Doug, bless you, man. I appreciate you. Have a glorious rest of your week. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. All righty. Hello, streamers. I want heads to roll. I want heads to bloody damn roll. I'm sick and tired of this bull crap, to be quite honest. It's ridiculous that so many people get away with so much bull crap. I'll be honest, we have an oligarchy. We've got an oligarchy. Nobody ever gets arrested. Nobody ever goes to jail when they're in politics, no matter what they get away with, no matter what they do. Sorry, I'm writing down the price of gold. Timothy, Illinois has tons of fraud. Well, they always have. BF05, good to see you. Another thing, they tried to say her wheels were turning right, but they went left. They did go left. Everybody knows it. One word, accountability. Yeah, and it's about damn time. Gloves have got to come off, guys. Am I right? Gloves have got to come off by the feds. We're tired of this bull crap. We waited 4 years to get here. We waited 4 friggin' years. And by God, I want to see some people go to friggin' jail. Tired of this nonsense. Who's watching over on the YouTube? It's South Dakota Slim. Hello. I need to get back to the Black Hills, man. I took my Bronco up the highest point in, that little mountain out there in the Black Hills. I think it's 7,000 feet, and you can go up so far, and then you can climb the rest of it. It was so fun. Shelby Inslee, hello. Love your show. Love you too, babe. Glad to have you guys watching today. Thanks for a 1965 War Eagle. Woo! How you doing? Good to see ya. I hope you're enjoying the show. I got much more to get to on the show. 46.24, 45, 97. It's down a little bit. Price of silver. Hold on a second. Silver. What's silver at? 87. 46. I want some damn people in the government to be held accountable for the bull crap they put us through. We live in an oligarchy. I've said this for a very long time. You know when the oligarchs really started? Bill and Hillary Clinton, when they left office, became multi-billionaires, sold political influence to the people who owned the companies that benefited from the Uranium One deal that she did when she was Secretary of State. It happened. We live in an oligarchy. Bernie Sanders has 4 houses. Liz Warren, she's got $2+ million houses. We got people who go to Washington, D.C., spend their entire lives telling us how to live ours. And what do? We have to feast on the crumbs. I'm so bloody tired of this nonsense. I want some SOBs to go to jail. I want them to go to jail. Gold is at $45.97 today, just over $4,500. $4,600, real close. Down about $24 from yesterday. Silver's up. Silver is at $87.40 today. $87. Silver is at $87, for God's sake. Can you believe this nonsense? Wow. It's not nonsense. It's about instability in the world. You know, you got Iran getting ready to fall. God willing, Donald Trump, give him a little kick in the butt. Give the little Ayatollah, give him a kick in the butt. Because that's got to happen. The Iranian people are, depending on you, man. You're Superman. Get in there, swoop in, help them out. Come on, bro. Go into the phone booth, change your outfit, get out of that Clark Kent, that suit, get into Superman. We got to do it. But it all affects the price of gold. If you're a first-time gold buyer, Birch Gold will offer you a rebate up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. To claim eligibility, start the process. Just text Rob to 989898. You know that ball of angst you feel in your stomach when you see what's happening in Minnesota and you see what's happening in Iran? That means gold is going to go up. Because gold is solid. Gold has been valuable for as long as humanity has known about it. And it's a great investment. So, text my name, Rob, to 989898. Rob to 989898 to get the ball rolling on gold. And again, qualifying purchases up to $10,000 when it's your first time. They'll be gentle. They will. Claim your eligibility today. Again, Rob to 989898. On the other side of the break, we're going to talk about the mania guiding the left, the Democrat Party. Everybody in the country is recognizing what I recognized a year ago, that the Democrat Party and the left are run by insane liberal Karens and the emasculated men in their lives. That's coming up. This is the Rob Carson Show.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax. Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide.
Real news for real people.
about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 2 of the show. We are on radio stations around the country, hopefully adding affiliates. We'd love to add some affiliates. If you have a radio station in your town, no matter what the size, you might want to call the program director and say, hey, man, you know this Rob Carson guy's pretty amazing. Really wild show. He plays comedy and stuff. He doesn't just have an opinion, because you know what opinions are like. Everybody's got one, and the last thing talk radio needs is another one of those. We're also streaming live on Newsmax social media, where people on average watch for an hour and 39 minutes every day. They watch me on the interweb, an hour and 39 minutes a day, which begs the question, why aren't you listening the other hour and 20 minutes? What the hell's your people problem, huh? What's the deal here? Actually, I know how valuable your time is. Trust me on this. I know how valuable your time is. I don't have a lot of time for superfluous things. I don't. I work, I go home, I work out, and then I go back home. I do show prep, and then I do show prep, and then I do some show prep. That's my life. But you know what? I love what I do. I love what I do. It is awesome. So we're on all Newsmax social media, by the way, all of them, Instagram and X and YouTube and Rumble. Rumble, by the way. Did you hear that Dan Bongino's getting back on the air? He's going to be before this show on Rumble. So what a great lead-in, right? It's not on Newsmax social, but it's kind of a lead-in. He's going to be on 10 to noon, and then my show is on noon to 3. My God, could you imagine a better lineup than that on Rumble? My goodness. And Rumble is our biggest audience, by the way. We got YouTube. We could build the YouTube. Don't get me wrong. We got the Facebook. Facebook, thank you so much, guys. I got a great group of people on Facebook, and I got a great group of people on Instagram and all that. And by the way, each one of these social media platforms has its own unique community. I've already met several people who watch on Rumble. I call them my Rumbly-Roo. The Rumbly-Roo is what it is. And I had a couple come up from Texas and another drive in from Delaware to come to D.C. and meet me. Can you believe that? I know. What the hell? They don't have anything to do with their time, apparently. But no, I got to meet them and go out to. We went out to lunch. Oh my God, we went out to lunch. It was so spectacular. So anyway, we're on all of the social media, noon to 3 again, and then hopefully adding some affiliate stations in major markets around the country as the show progresses. And by the way, it's interesting, and I don't know exactly what it was, but as soon as we started live streaming last December, we became the number 1 streaming product on Newsmax social media. Day one. And it was very powerful, very big. And then, like right as I moved to D.C., through the ceiling. I mean, through the ceiling. The number of people checking out the show, listening to the show. I put up copious amounts of daily video on all of my social media at Rob Carson Show. And TikTok is blown up. Instagram is blown up. It's a wonderful time to be in the media, but only if you do a product that is uniquely entertaining. If you just have an opinion, you're going to be, opinions are easy. You got an opinion. I've got an opinion. But I got a show. Absolutely. Been talking about these liberal Karens who are just insane around the country. And here's a little montage of some of these white women, these white crazy women. And they are, and I'm not afraid to say it, white, fat, liberal women who, well, a lot of them, some of them are kind of anemic and elderly, but crazy, bat guano crazy cat ladies and the emasculated men in their lives, or at least adjacent, because some of them don't like men, if you know what I mean. But they're nuts. White liberal women are freaking nuts. Malcolm X warned black people about white liberals. Said it was the greatest threat to us is the white liberal. And the white liberal Karen combines being a liberal with also being an insane, mentally ill person. And when you got that, you get this.
I love my community, I love my city, and I hate what's happening to it with people who, frankly, aren't from here coming in and telling us who should be here. And when it comes down to loving my neighbor, I'm just going to love my neighbor.
So if the ICE agent who shot the woman and killed her in Minneapolis isn't responsible for what he did because another person ran over them 6 months ago. Then, just out of curiosity, I mean, for example, I was raped in the 80s. If I go to the gynecologist and he triggers me in some way, I just get to whip out a knife and cut off his
Think Fatal Attraction in Glenn Close. That's, there you go. Here's another montage of insane liberal white women in Minnesota.
Get out!
This is, by the way, not normal and should never be normal. If you would have dropped you or me off the planet, on the planet 20 years ago, you know what the hell has happened. We've descended into Lord of the Flies meets Animal Farm. And we have. And you've got these people, shoot me in the face, F, 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 women, F, 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 F. I went to Elon Musk was a Nazi. Remember that? Elon Musk was a Nazi about a year ago. And so the liberal Karens and all these idiots who are bought and paid for went to Elon Musk's car dealership, said he was a Nazi. I had a 70-plus-year-old woman scream at my Jewish friend that he was a Nazi. And then F you, F you, F you to me. And I said, do your grandchildren know you speak like that? F you, F you, F you. This isn't normal. It never will be normal. This is mania. This is insanity. This is literally the useful idiots that Lennon talked about. These are the useful idiots. They are subject to mania. They are subject to social contagion. They are mentally ill. They believe that boys can be girls. Where did that come from? Out of nowhere. All of a sudden, oh yeah, it's the biggest thing in the world. It's a new civil rights front that kids should take puberty blockers and be mutilated sexually. Honestly, what the hell are you thinking? What the hell are you thinking? And last night, Jesse Waters finally figured it out. What I did last year.
All right, you see what's going on here? The resistance is being run by women and men who cry. Walls, Fry, the chief, all criers.
Yeah, there you go. Liberal, white, cul-de-sac-dwelling, crazy cat ladies, and the emasculated men in their lives. Here is Benny Johnson.
These angry women, what is, in fact, their problem? And I think that I can diagnose it. I'm no psychiatrist, but I think I can diagnose it. A lot of these women are, in fact, what J.D. Vance once called childless cat ladies.
Yes.
Taylor Swift once bragged about being a childless cat lady. That's why she supports Kamala.
Yeah.
But that doesn't get rid of your need to mother. If you are a woman, you're still created by God with a motherly instinct.
Unwarranted empathy. These are the people who fall in love with death row inmates. I told you this.
Instinct. It's just when you don't have children, that instinct moves somewhere else. And for
Dino Mangione is so dreamy.
That primary instinct has moved to the criminal alien. Why?
Luigi Mangione is so dreamy.
Because your instinct as a parent is to raise up your own children with the same value system that you have, so that your worldview can progress, so your worldview can stay alive and not go extinct. The Democrat Party is going extinct by choice. They're not having children, and they're trying to project their worldview and power onto criminal aliens. It's actually horribly sad.
And I distilled it best when I said they are crazy cat ladies and the emasculated men in their lives, the women who fall in love with death row inmates. It is an empathy that is unwarranted. And I heard Rogan talking about it when I was listening to podcasts. Among others, it is unwarranted empathy. It is a misguided motherhood, attempting to be the mother of people like radical Palestinian terrorists, etc. That's what it is. Crazy cat ladies is what I call them. Sean in Live Oak wants to talk about crazy cat ladies. What's going on, brother?
Oh, greetings from West Libtardia.
Yes.
Yes, and Minneapolis has won the prize for the biggest Karens.
Oh.
And due to that honor, I'm going to rename it Karenopolis.
Karenopolis, that's good. That's good. I got to tell you, I'm really kind of done with their nonsense. I want to do a figurative plant the heel of my hand in her forehead and just push her and have her fall on the ground in front of me. That's what I figuratively want done to these busybody Gladys Kravitz, crazy cat ladies who involve them. They're the ones, I told you this, they're the ones who are the HOA members who say your grass is too high or you've got a little mildew on your siding, and they want to wield some sort of power over you. They're insane, and it's about time we punched back figuratively. Just kind of done with these busybodies. And this has to be the year that we eliminate Karen. This is the way we have to send Karen back to her cul-de-sac. Sean, what do you think?
Well, they certainly merit contempt, derision, mockery, and ridicule.
Well, and that's what I'm going to do, Sean. Thanks for the call. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Well, they have a lot of cats, and they're mostly Democrats like V.P. Harris. They cry when they lose. From their left-wing views, I wish they'd spare us. They're cat ladies. Whoa, 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 they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who have clearly lost their mind.
People that are pro-life, I hate you.
Got called out by J.D. Vance. When he had the chance, he really nailed them. They're too dumb to know. Kamala and Joe have really failed them. They're cat ladies. Don't have a child, they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who are out of their minds. Tim Walz is a lefty who's ruined his state. Now he wants our children to self-mutilate. His policies are disgusting and lewd. And now he says schools have to include tampons in the boys' room. Tampons in the boys' room. Tim Walz and Kamala, a couple of fools. And everybody knows that liberals want to ruin schools. Tim allowed his cities to be burned by BLM. Criminals, illegals, they can count on Tim. His uniform, Tim was disgraced. He really crossed the line the moment that he placed tampons in the boys' room. Tampons in the boys' room. Tim Walz is a commie. Kamala is too. And everyone should know the damage that these two could do.
We're eating pickles from the dollar store, hot pockets from the Dollar General, chicken wings expired yesterday. We're eating pickles from the dollar store, hot pockets from the Dollar General, chicken wings expired yesterday.
I never get tired of that.
680 WCBM.
Gotta rejoin.
and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
I am genderqueer, transmasc, and queer. What's transmasc? Transmasc is like people under the non-binary umbrella identifying like or presenting masc.
Masculine?
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm trans and my sexuality is unlabeled. I use he, him pronouns.
Yeah, and I use he, they pronouns.
Fluid. How about just one pronoun? Nuts! How about you're just out of your friggin' minds? And I'm not afraid to say it. I got to tell you, honestly, they got away with it for a while. They called us transphobic, non-binary phobic. I'm honestly, you're freaking nuts. You bought into mania. 5 years from now, you're going to look at it, or maybe when you get a little bit older, maybe when you're 30, you're going to go, what the hell was I thinking? How did I get that tattoo there? I mean, honestly, I have no time. This is why I say that conservative comedy is ascending because the left can't be taken seriously anymore. You cannot be taken seriously when you believe that nonsense. I have friends and their daughter has been going through a 5 or 6 year struggle about her, whether she's a boy. And a couple of years ago, after all of this bullcrap, all of these things that she was trying to do to convince herself she was a boy, she asked her dad, said, "Dad, I can't be a boy, can I?" And he goes, "No, honey, you can't." But she's on all sorts of meds. She's on all sorts of, going to all sorts of counseling. I saw her over the holiday, and just gone. Tried to give her a hug, gone. Didn't want to hug me. I'm a white man. I mean, honestly, gone. This is the mania that Marxism does to make people into cannon fodder, which is what they're doing in Minneapolis. I got to play Gutfeld last night. This is a perfect distillation of Renee Good. I want you to listen. I'm going to play it in its entirety because it's about 2 minutes long. But Greg has completely distilled this. And you think about Renee Good, and I don't feel bad for Renee Good. She made her bed. She lied in it. She bought into this nonsense, and ultimately she paid the price because she was she had hubris, she had arrogance, and she thought she was bulletproof. Well, guess what?
You ask your sister this question. So what are your plans today, Deborah? And she goes, well, I plan on filming myself harassing and impeding armed law enforcement. Well, so how would you respond to your sister? You'd say, honey, do you think that's wise?
Yeah.
What about the kids? Where are the kids?
Yeah.
Oh, I drop them off at daycare. So what time are you doing this? At 11? Aren't you working? Oh, no, not at the moment. So you drop your kids off at daycare, you're not working, and you're going to stalk law enforcement. Don't you think this is time you should spend with your family?
Yeah.
Or maybe do a job search or take some classes? Don't you think this is unhealthy behavior?
Yeah.
Now, if you deny to a family member or to a best friend that this is how you would react, you are lying to yourself.
Yes, you are.
To protect your public virtue on this matter. This is how you get, in my opinion, the fake empathy liberal to return to reality.
Yes.
If your sister is
unwarranted empathy,
telling you that instead of caring for her children or her mental health, that she prefers to stalk law enforcement, would you say, you go, girl? Of course not.
Nope.
You would say, you need an intervention.
Yes.
I need to stop you because I care about you.
Yes.
And that is the problem, Jessica. Nobody cares about Good.
Nope.
You don't care about her.
Nope.
The left never cared about.
Nope.
The activist group that trained her didn't care about it.
Nope.
Who should be sued for wrongful death, who put her in this situation. She had no friends. She had no relatives to offer her advice when she was doing this stuff, when she was putting her life in jeopardy. Think about this pathetic movement and all the videos you've seen of these women. Where are their friends? Where are their parents? Where are the kids that would say, Mommy, what are you doing? Why aren't you home? Before every action you think you're going to endorse. If your private persona and your public behavior is different, you are a lying hypocrite and you're hurting others and you're not helpful to these lonely, sad people that we're leading on in this world.
What did I tell you?
Well, they have a lot of cats, and they're mostly Democrats like VP Harris. They cry when they lose from their left-wing views. I wish they'd spare us.
Jim Gossett.
They're cat ladies. Whoa, 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 they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies.
Yeah, they are. They're absolutely miserable.
Who have clearly lost their mind.
Bad Guano crazy.
I hate you.
Got called out by J.D. Vance. When he had the chance, he really nailed them.
Last time they got nailed, I guess.
They're too dumb to know. Kamala and Joe have really failed them.
They're nuts.
They're cat ladies.
Meow.
Don't have a child, they're cat ladies.
Meow.
Talking about some miserable ladies who are out of their mind.
This is Greg Bovino of ICE. He's constantly under attack in Minneapolis.
That rhetoric does cause the violence. We've heard those elected representatives, as you've said, say some very terrible things about law enforcement, about federal agents, and that's reflected in what you see by that vocal minority out on the streets. And they actually take what those elected representatives say and they put it into action. And that's too bad because they're being set up. They're almost like cannon fodder.
Yes.
Those elected representatives and
Yes.
those so-called community leaders and social media influencers, they don't care if these individuals get hurt or killed. They're after a reaction. And I'll tell you what, our law enforcement officers here in Minneapolis and across the United States do a fantastic job in dealing with this every day. A lot of restraint.
I want Donald Trump to send in the military and use some of the technology they use to go after and get Venezuela, Maduro. I had a brain fart for a second. They used a sonic weapon there. They got to do something. It's time for a beatdown. I mean, we've been waiting for the children to get a spanking for a very long time. It's ridiculous. It's happening all over the country. Here is Ben Berkwam.
And what I saw in Minneapolis leading up to Renee Good getting shot was the worst I've seen in our country. This organization of anarchists, communists, and now jihadists
and jihad.
all working together under the banners of
Green Red.
These NGOs, all funded and coordinated, and these groups, these rapid response networks going out and trying to obstruct ICE doing their job. That's why Renee Good is dead, because they chose to go out and get in.
And more are going to die, and if they die in this fashion, I won't give a rat's behind. Here is Scott Besson. He's going after the people who pay these people.
We are going to, again, what we do is we follow the money. All of these agitators who are causing violence night after night, Portland, Minneapolis, someone is funding them. When they have lasers that they blind DHS officers with, when they hold up all the same umbrellas, someone bought those umbrellas, and that there is a money trail, and we are going to follow it. So Treasury, FinCEN can do that.
Do it.
IRS has a badass group called Criminal Investigators.
Good.
They can look at financial fraud, and they carry guns. They go out in the field and they make arrests. And it was IRS criminal investigators who got to the initial fraud here, because state of Minnesota wasn't doing it. The corrupt Tim Walz wasn't doing it.
Yeah, and the Democrat
He's
Party.
turning a blind eye.
They're using it to cover up and keep illegals in the country, and they're also doing it to cover up the massive fraud in blue states across the country to the tune of trillions of dollars. That's it. That's all. And it's time for a beatdown. It's time for a spanking. Luke Ball, political strategist, joins us next. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Relief Factor. You know, I saw an ad for Relief Factor a while back, and I saw a guy literally in tears with how he talked about the pain that he was experiencing was gone. It happened to me too. I started taking a few months ago. My hip was really bothering me, and I wondered, because I'm the age of, replacement of joints and whatnot, if it could be better. And I started taking Relief Factor, and it healed. It's a 100% drug-free, research-based formula created to help your body's natural inflammatory response, the same one that cause everyday aches and pains from aging, exercise, overexertion, and just normal living. It helped me with my hip, my neck, my shoulders, all the places that remind you you're not 25 anymore. Relief Factor supports a healthy response to inflammation, helping you stay active and keep those joints and muscles feeling good. It's made with 4 key ingredients: omega-3 fatty acids, resveratrol, curcumin, and icariin, each one helping from a different angle. You can start with the 3-week quick start for just $19.95. That's less than a cup of coffee a day. So if you're tired of creaking like an old floorboard every time you move, give Relief Factor a try. Go to ReliefFactor.com. That's ReliefFactor.com and feel the difference. Relief Factor, because getting out of bed shouldn't count as a workout.
Arrests ICE has made so far. How many have a criminal record versus those who are just in the country illegally?
All of them, because they illegally broke our nation's laws and therefore they are criminals.
She's no KJP, more like Kaylee and Sarah. Her first press briefing was strong. She deals in facts, not liberal propaganda. We have been lied to for so long. And raise your hand, be polite, or she won't call on you. Meet Caroline, kicking butt and taking names. She's not inclined to let reporters play their games. Sweet Caroline.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Quince.com. Colder days mean layers, and your winter wardrobe may have you considering a winter reset. I went to a jazz club the other night wearing a Quince tee, another shirt over it, and a Quince wool jacket. A woman said, "You look fine." I mean, it blew me away. I've spent every dime for my kids and my wife for 25 years. Now I feel confident and I look good with Quince. I couldn't believe it. Quince has everything you need: men's Mongolian cashmere sweaters, wool coats, leather, and suede outerwear, each piece made with premium materials by trusted factories that meet rigorous standards. No middlemen means no traditional markups. The wool coat I wore to the jazz club the other night turned heads, cost less than I paid elsewhere. You can also find anything for your home, including kitchen, bath, and even for travel. Refresh your wardrobe at Quince. Go to quince.com/Newsmax. That's QUINCE.com/Newsmax for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Newsmax. That's quince.com/Newsmax.
Tragedy that Renee Good is dead, and we should all mourn it. We should all mourn it. Peggy Flanagan, the Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, encouraged people to put their bodies on the line. That is irresponsible. Democrats who are encouraging people to obstruct law enforcement, they're putting them in harm's way with their rhetoric, and it's wrong.
They talked to Democrats who were talking to their constituents, and they were telling them to get shot for the anti-Trump resistance. Wow. What we really need to do is be willing to get shot when visiting ICE facilities or federal agencies. Our own base is telling us that what we're doing is not enough. There needs to be blood to grab the attention of the press and the public.
This is why it's a green-red revolution. There's similarities, and I put two and two together a couple of years ago about how radical Islam and the Marxist left are very similar. Radical Islam is for chest binders and mutilative surgery and female circumcision, which is what the radical left in America is. They call it changing your gender. And then, of course, in radical Islam, they encourage their followers to strap bombs on their bodies and go into synagogues and whatnot and kill themselves, but they never do it themselves. Kind of like the Democrat Party in Minnesota. Well, let's go stand in front of a car. There's got to be blood. You get shot in the face. And they would never do it themselves. But this is about using useful idiots. They're both very similar. They're very similar in ideology. Let's see what Luke Ball has to say about that. He is a political strategist, CEO of Compass Strategies. Hello, Luke Ball, and Happy New Year. What's up?
Well, speaking of useful idiots, here I am. Thank you for having me.
You are not an idiot, but you are kind of useless. No. So what do you think about all this nonsense in Minnesota? Today we got word that they are suspending whatever was the protected status that Somalis have enjoyed for the last 30 years in Minneapolis, which basically means that they can be deported to Somalia. I'm hoping they do it wholesale. It's very clear that Somalia is the meth lab trailer park of the world, and they have taken advantage of our largesse. Your thoughts?
It takes some talent to completely bungle a state over the last couple of months in the way that Tim Walz and the Democrats over there have. Every story that comes out of there, it was like one thing after another, and I kept thinking, is it the same state? It is the same state. What was this guy the vice presidential nominee for the Democrat Party last time around?
God.
Oh, it was the last one. Can you imagine if this stuff were coming up before the last election, how much more Donald Trump would have won and just how greater of a margin he would have had, because it was going on for that long. And this stuff touches on every single thing that's going to be relevant in the midterms, putting Americans first. The affordability issue, if we're sending millions of dollars overseas to terrorist organizations, you think we couldn't maybe reinvest that into some manufacturing here back home in the United States or in Minnesota?
Yeah.
It also discusses the foreign affairs stuff. It's like, are we really allowing the Democrats to send money overseas to fund terrorist groups before they start funding infrastructure projects here at home? So every little item that comes out, unfortunately, because it hits all of the residents of that state, it's like really sad on another level. It's comical to look at from a political perspective, but these are people's lives that you're dealing with, and they are the ones who are going to have to pay the bill.
Well, you look at and I've been studying this for, about a year, when I said that Democrat Party is run by insane liberal cat ladies and the emasculated men in their lives. And this is becoming very true. We're seeing this. We're seeing that the liberal Karen, the white Karen, is susceptible to contagion, social contagion. If you look at the web now, it is populated by women who are just off of their frickin' nut. They are off of their nut. There's no doubt about it, dude. There's no doubt about it.
I really just have had to shut off social media.
Oh, God.
Because also the algorithm sometimes pushes the things to me I'm convinced that I know that I flip out about, because then I interact with them, and the lunacy that it takes to come to some of the conclusions that our dear friends on the left leap to is just comical. And so we linger. It's like going into Ripley's Believe It or Not museum. You can't even hardly believe some of the stuff that you're seeing, and yet it's mainstream. I mean, even like I just walked past the Supreme Court on the way back to my office. There's hordes of people out there protesting back and forth over the transgender ruling that's coming down today, and like you can tell who the conservative protesters or supporters are by the way they're conducting themselves. They're out there in normal clothes. They're standing there and having polite conversations, and all the other ones have hair that came out of a bottle and clothing that probably wouldn't even be appropriate for a Spencer store. And now we are like seeing this back and forth dialogue happen between two radically different groups of people. Very interesting, to say the least.
I know there's a turning point here. There is a turning point. It is coming. It is a smackdown. It is the spanking of the children that I've been hoping for. Even though I never spanked mine, thank you very much. I think spanking and corporal punishment should be reserved between two adults in the privacy of their own home. But that said, it is about time we delivered a beatdown legally and in some cases physically with the left. Did you get a chance to see that video last night in Minneapolis of the I guess Patriot MAGA supporter and all of these lefties attempting to go after him, and he would just cold cock them, and they would freeze up like fainting goats and fall over? Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
Oh
no.
my God! I mean, he took out like 6 of these idiots who thought they could take him on, and he just one punched right, just like I'm trying to remember the name of the movie but anyway, it's a Brad Pitt movie, and he was a Brit, whatever. Anyway,
it's some WWE stuff coming out of Minnesota sometimes.
Oh,
I'm telling you what, it's just like, and that's why the media is just so fixated on it. What's really comical is that they'll go out there and they will show all of these images that the left has created with complete and total chaos, and then run back and do cartwheels to spin the narrative. And kind of here's the bottom line, Rob.
Yes.
The only way that the left is going to make Donald Trump's America look wholeheartedly chaotic is if they create the chaos themselves. And then Donald Trump or the appropriate authorities come in with their law enforcement officers to try and restore law and order, which is what the majority of Americans want, just safe streets. And if they have to use force, then they have to use force and defend themselves. The left could care less if that cop got run over and killed that day. They could care less if these police officers went home to their families at night. And yet you see them out there creating these hostile conditions for law enforcement. Yep. And then when they defend themselves, act as if the whole world is falling apart.
Yeah, it's again, there's no reasoning with them. They just need a legal or physical beatdown. But leave it up to federal authorities. By the way, Snatch was the movie I was thinking with Brad Pitt. One punch, knock him right down. Was that? So back to the Supreme Court today and the insanity that we have a Supreme Court, dear God in heaven, we have a Supreme Court justice who could not answer what a woman is. And she is presiding over a case that is so bat guano crazy. And I know what this case is about. This is a case about men in athletic competition who feel threatened by all of the women who were born women and became men to compete and be. Oh, no, actually, no, that never happens. So what's ridiculous?
It's heartbreaking because if I had a little girl that was involved in sports and we were faced with this situation, we didn't seek this out. They are the ones who are living out their fantasies on others, and unfortunately it is wholeheartedly reinforced by the parents. So it's really kind of like a chain of command, right? The woke leftist mob will create the talking points and agenda. They will force feed them to the parents through their mainstream media sources. Those parents will then raise their children and impress upon them this mentality and then create conditions for the ones who were just trying to go to school and be normal individuals that are hostile and completely disrupt their work. The left would like you to think that it's all about this one kid that is a guy who wants to play on a girl's team, and that's like the entire situation, that somehow we're depriving them of their rights. But in reality, it's about every other normal kid that is on that team and every other normal kid in that classroom or that would be forced to share a bathroom with that person. So they don't pay attention to any of them. It's only about the one, for lack of a better word, human prop that they've put up, which is really sad, by the way, in order to try to push forward this ideology.
Those who believe absurdities will commit atrocities, and they become useful dupes, and they will pivot on anything. 1 week it'll be Elon Musk is a Nazi, then Donald Trump is a king, then Pete Hegseth is a war criminal, then Maduro needs to be freed, and Donald Trump is a war criminal, and then ICE should be murdered. That's it in a nutshell. And there are a lot of nuts in that shell. More with Luke Ball after the break. Let's take a break. This is the Rob Carson Show.
we're also talking about a regime that's not only slaughtering, and Rob, I think it's far more than hundreds. I think the number of protesters they killed is probably in the thousands. But this is also a regime that is still pursuing long-range ballistic missiles and nuclear weapons. President Trump has already shown that he's not going to listen to the isolationists when he conducted Operation Midnight Hammer to destroy the nuclear weapons program, or at least bury it. And I think that we're now at a tipping point where his red line has been crossed. Remember, he warned the Ayatollah that the United States was locked and loaded, quote unquote, if they started killing protesters. And the Iranian regime has walked way over that red line at this stage.
Because they have political strategist and CEO of Compass Strategies. Luke Ball's going to join us in a second. I first have to tell you this, though, before I thought I'd tease you a little bit there. Here are some headlines. Forbes on MSN. Gold and silver surge will hit record highs amid Fed Chair Powell investigation. U.S. prosecutors open probe of Fed chief escalating Trump war clash. Dollar dips. Gold at record high according to Reuters today. Gold is at just shy of $4,600 an ounce. Silver is over $87 an ounce. If it's your first time buying gold, my favorite company, Birch Gold, is going to give you a deal. You could get a $10,000 rebate with qualifying purchase from Birch Gold. Get a little something back. You're not just buying gold, you're investing. You're investing in gold. Last year at this time, December right before this time, $2,600 an ounce. $4,600 an ounce now. $2,000. $2,000 an ounce, kids, in a year. Text my name, Rob, to 989898, Rob to 989898. If your IRA or 401k is just lying there like Joe Biden on the beach, you might want to consider getting on the gold train before it is too late. Text my name, Rob, to 989898, up to $10,000 qualifying purchases. Claim your eligibility today. Again, text Rob to 989898 for Birch Gold. Luke Ball, what's got to happen in Iran, man? I mean, this is history. It's got to happen. The mullahs, the ayatollahs got to fall. We've got an opportunity. It's just a matter of how we get there. What do you think?
Absolutely. And, this president really has defined what it means to be a world leader. The last president, we saw an abysmal withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Oh.
We saw him completely flounder on the world stage and play with American soldiers' lives. And to see a president who is actually beginning to shape foreign affairs in a way that the presidency was meant to do is just so refreshing. So, with Iran and Venezuela and every other foreign affair that is going on right now, it just kind of seems like the ones who are hostile to the United States, the ones who have had oppressive regimes for an extended period of time, are treating this administration differently, especially after what happened with Venezuela.
Yeah, and you would think they'd learn a lesson from Venezuela when Donald Trump issued an ultimatum and said, "Hey, I'm giving you an out. I'm giving you an out," doing the same thing. And you've got the Ayatollah trying to play both sides of the equation, threatening war against the United States, which honestly, laughable. My God, are you kidding me? And then posting memes of Donald Trump in a casket. What would you like to see Trump do? I mean, we got to do something. We got to give him a little nudge. All the people need is a little nudge. Barack Obama let him burn, man. Barack Obama left him out on a limb and ended up giving him billions of dollars. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, and that's the problem, too, is that they aren't used to somebody who is actually serious or that is going to come in and act as if they have the upper hand. Because you're right, Obama did give them an enormous amount of money. We're not going to give them an enormous amount of money. We are going to go in and dominate if we ever did have to have military intervention over there. I am somebody who does not like to see our military involved in places that we don't need to be.
Yes.
But in terms of dictating the way things are going to go, if we need to ensure that they are essentially placed in a position that they respect the United States again, this is the president that's going to be able to do it.
Yeah, we need to kick ass and take names, and most of those names are going to be Muhammad in this case, actually, is what that is. So, there's just a lot of nonsense. I believe, and I said before Donald Trump was elected, that a wave of freedom and patriotism would sweep the globe. Now we add faith to that with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. This is a godly movement, and there's a point where if you have the opportunity to bomb the railroad tracks leading to Auschwitz, you bomb the tracks. You don't listen to people like Rand Paul. I kind of wonder if he got on medical marijuana after he got tackled on the lawnmower. I really do, Luke.
Well, with Charlie Kirk, and just the way that the left has completely, and some of the clips you were playing as we came into the first segment, I was like, how do they allow this stuff on television or on the media waves? That the left and the Democrats are essentially endorsing violence. They refused to condemn the violence against Charlie Kirk. A few of them kind of half-heartedly said that we shouldn't have violence in America, but they refused to really come out and denounce the things that were happening, because they were like, oh, a voice on the right has been silenced now, somebody that we had trouble competing with, and they wholeheartedly seem to endorse this sort of violence in order to accomplish their agenda.
We're in a de facto civil war, and they have soldiers for hire. It's very obvious. We are in a de facto civil war. They have soldiers for hire. They have cannon fodder, and the only thing that is going to defeat them, leave it up to federal authorities, but it's going to require not only law enforcement, but also possibly some sort of police action or a military action to push back on this, because this is insurrection. The left is pushing towards it. They see this. They lost in the last election. They are desperate. They've got communist China involved in this, pushing for some sort of an insurrection, and that's what it is. It's not about protests. It's about an actual insurrection against the government of the United States. I believe, Luke, in closing, we are going to win this. We have to overwhelm the left with joy and patriotism and leave the rest up to Donald Trump and the people of his administration.
Absolutely, because the left has already launched the soft insurrection,
I know.
if you can call it soft, by the actions that they've taken against ICE officers and law enforcement.
Yep.
It really started far before this.
I know.
Like, this city that I'm sitting in right now was lit on fire by them in 2020, and now they're just trying to continue it.
Well, we're going to stop it. I know that we're going to win this. Luke, where can people find you on the social media?
Just search Luke T. Ball. I'll be on all platforms, and I will see everybody on the social media waves. If I'm not completely sick of the algorithm and the left loonies popping up on there, I might have to log off once in a while. You can reach me by carrier pigeon if that happens.
All right, brother. Take care of yourself. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. I'm going to tell you, as far as a personality who distills thought beautifully, you must admit, Luke Ball is good. I don't think he ever played T-ball, by the way. We're looking at Dookie Bear and Beck Ottenberry. Good to see you over in the Rumbly Room. You guys are talking about guns over there. You're talking about all sorts of stuff over there. My mom and brothers were hunters, guns in the house. We had guns in our house. We had guns everywhere. And when I grew up in Iowa, it was not uncommon for you to have guns on a rack behind your head in a pickup truck. You know that? You know that, right? You don't do it now because somebody tried to steal your guns. But it was, and you didn't mess with them. You know, let me give you an idea of my white trash roots. Are you ready? Are you ready? You walk into our house, into the kitchen, right into the kitchen. To the left is the laundry and a bathroom. Above the washer and dryer, gun rack with shotguns. Left into the living room, mom and dad's room. Above the dresser, 2 shotguns on a rack. In each of their nightstands, a handgun. And you know what? You know how many times I borrowed that gun or got into those guns? Never! Never! We need more of that in America. We do. Kruk 1952, good to see you learn to shoot at an early age. Me too. All right, let's take a break and come back. We got to talk.
0.9 FM in Harford County. Stay connected and informed with the latest news at the top of every hour. Then talk about it.
I got to talk.
Like a little excitement for
I'm letting you listen to
680
WCBM, our anchor station. That's what you're listening to, by the way, in case you wanted to know.
About 2.5 here.
2.5. That's Brian. He's my producer at WCBM. He's nice.
If you have a situation where U.S. military action can tip it, where the Ayatollah and his thugs have to leave, you do it. You do it in a heartbeat.
Yes.
But if it's just maybe kind of right, you wait. I don't believe that the mullahs are going to survive because now we have defections in the army.
Yes.
Once you have defections in a national army, then you have a point of no return. It's not like the people, the army units that are defecting away from the Ayatollah's authority can come back. They can't.
Did you see the girls, the young women in Iran with the hijabs gone, waving their hair around, listening to rock and roll music? Is so beautiful. Those precious little girls over there can have a future, unlike the future that Joe Biden with the terrible Afghanistan withdrawal. They were sentenced to a life of slavery, child marriage to creepy old men. So disgusting. This is Robert Greenway. Last night, I believe he was talking on Fox News about what happens to Iran right now.
In the 47-year failed history of the Islamic Republic, I think the people of Iran have never been closer to obtaining the liberty they enjoyed before 1979. Second, in terms of what may or may not need to be done about it, I think your points about the concern about how the United States has proceeded with regime change are completely valid. But I don't think there's any circumstance in which President Trump is going to insert the United States into the equation. I think rather what he will do and has done is to set conditions.
Bomb the snot out of the Ayatollah.
Conditions so that the people of Iran could establish and reestablish control for themselves and take control of their own future and destiny. And I think he's done three critical things to do it. He's applied economic pressure to restore it and to exacerbate the stress. He's demonstrated they can't provide security and stability, working with Israel in the Operation Midnight Hammer. And lastly, he's been the first president to offer rhetorical support for the people of Iran, and I think we're seeing the results of that.
Yes, and they have a chance to be free, and we should do everything we can to make sure that happens. And there's a way to do it, and there's a way not to do it. And the way to do it is the way Donald Trump does it, because when he does it, it works. It works. We're about to witness history. The Democrats are going to try and whiz on our parade. We need to watch this freedom movement spread and experience joy. God bless the free people of Persia. Last hour of the Rob Carson Show right ahead. Don't go anywhere.
about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. We've got another hour together. Yay. We are streaming live on all Newsmax social media. Massive numbers streaming the show live on all Newsmax social media. Also on terrestrial radio stations around the country. Radio is so important. I'm going to tell you right now. We've got KSCO in Santa Cruz, all the Benny media stations in New Hampshire. KBQ in Albuquerque. We're on in Fargo. We're on all over the place. And I'm going to tell you, whenever tech goes down, terrestrial radio comes through, and I know there are a lot of people who, radio's all whatever. No, actually, radio is very powerful. There's no better way to connect locally to a community than radio. That's it. Local TV newscast. You know what local TV newscasts are there for? To cover when people die in car crashes and murders and stuff like that. That's all the connection they really have. And they talk about sports and all that. But radio's out and about. Radio, the morning show is always the morning mayor, and then you got personalities through the day, and they go out and they help out charities. There's nothing better than local radio. Nothing better than local radio. And it's a marriage of the digital and the analog, and that's the way it is. That's just the way it is, kids. And you can stream local radio too. Stream your favorite radio station and listen to this show. WCBM in Balmer. That's our anchor station. I listen to Sean Casey every morning, man. It's like I got to have Sean Casey in the morning. So it's important. They're all important. I mean, our technology is evolving so quickly, at lightning speed. But there are still some great things that should not be left behind. All right. I just ordered some of those smart glasses, I ordered 2 pair of these smart glasses, and I got them for translation. Because, I like to talk to people. And like, for instance, a lot of times I find the most interesting people I meet to drive me to and from the airport. And so if I have a pair of smart glasses, I can give somebody smart glasses and put in Farsi. And have a conversation with somebody like there's nobody's business, or French, or Russian, or whatever. Language is about to become a social construct purely. It is. We're going to be able to hear immediate translation, and the reason why language will exist is culturally. That's what it's really all about. I know I'm acting all sorts of philosophical and everything. It's kind of weird. Oh, and speaking of evolution of technology, Elon Musk, and Elon Musk is we've never seen anything like Elon Musk. Elon Musk saved speech, by the way. He saved free speech. He bought Twitter. I can't say it enough. Years ago, the Democrat Party, the deep state, were censoring our speech. It was the most heartbreaking and chilling thing I had ever seen, to watch the government censor one half of the political equation joyfully. And they even got in a DHS, not a DHS, but a office of censorship, essentially, harpy from hell, who was going to joyfully censor the political equation and decide what you believe is truth, or what they believe is truth, and eliminate your truth, eliminate your opinion. You will listen to what the governmental office of truth has to say. That sounds like Orwell, doesn't it? Because it was the Ministry of Truth. They created a Ministry of Truth, and Elon Musk saved us. He did. He really did. And consequently, that's why I'm here. This is what I do. I built this studio myself. I built this myself. I'm on dozens of radio stations around the country. I'm heard by millions and seen by millions every week. And I built this myself. Steve Bannon is a rock star now because of what they tried to do to free speech. Steve Bannon is a rock star media star because of what they did to our speech. Elon Musk saved free speech. And now he's talking about each year building, are you ready? 1,000 spaceships to travel into space. We're witnessing this. We're witnessing this happen real time. Look what AI has done in our lives the last 2 years. Look what AI has done. You wait till quantum computing. Oh. There's a thing called infinite knowledge that's coming, where the computer learns exponentially forever. Does that mean we will know everything? That we will know everything? We'll know what a quark is. We'll know what a black hole, what causes it. We'll know how to cure cancer. We'll know how to cure aging. Ask the quantum computer, why do we age and how do we prevent it? Quantum computer goes, bing! It's an immediate equation. There's no little circle, beep, beep, beep. You got to wait. None. Quantum computing, immediate answer. Cancer, how do we stop it? Bing! But we've never had anything smarter than us exist on the earth. And that's where it gets scary. Elon Musk yesterday at SpaceX HQ, where they're going to put up 1,000 rockets into space every year. You're going to be able to travel to space in your lifetime, presumably in the next 5 or 10 years. You are going to travel into space.
The purpose of SpaceX, it's like we want to make Star Trek real.
Say, really? Oh my God, I want to date Uhura.
Okay. We want to make Starfleet Academy real.
I knew it was real.
So that it's not always science fiction, but one day the science fiction turns to science fact.
Wow.
And we have spaceships going through space, big spaceships.
Bad news for you, geeks who like Star Wars and all that. It's not going to help you find a woman.
With people going to other planets.
But a robot woman.
Going to the moon. And ultimately going beyond our star system to other star systems. Where we may meet aliens. Or discover long-dead alien civilizations. I don't know, but we want to go.
Wow.
And we want to see what's happening.
Wow.
And we want to have epic, futuristic spaceships.
Wow.
With lots of people in them, traveling to places we've never been to before.
Yeah, we're going to have to figure out how to do a wormhole because otherwise it's useless. Because the universe is so... I am not going to get into this. I am such a... You have no idea. You have no idea what a geek I am about physics and astronomy. You have no idea. You have no idea. Wait till I start doing the extended podcast and I start talking to somebody about physics and God. It's going to get real. It's going to get real. I'm a deep thinker. I believe that God and philosophy and science and physics can exist on the same plane. You can't have one without the other. You can't have anything but intelligent design because H2 and an O is always water, even 15 billion light years away. Ba-dun-dun-dun! You're thinking, the guy who makes jokes all the time, what the hell? Did you hear about this Venezuelan security guard loyal to Nicolas Maduro? And when the special forces came to their compound and what they did, he said, listen to this. He says. After the drones appeared, there were hundreds of drones. Some helicopters arrived. I think there were barely 8. From those helicopters, soldiers came down, but a very small number, maybe 20 men. But those men were technologically very advanced. They didn't look like anything we'd fought before. And then the battle began. The security guard, yes, it was a massacre. We were hundreds, but we had no chance. They were shooting with such precision and speed. It seemed like each soldier was firing 300 rounds per minute. He said our weapons didn't help at all. Listen to this. At one point, the U.S. forces launched something. I don't know how to describe it. It was a very intense sound wave. Suddenly, I felt like my head was exploding from the inside. We all started bleeding from the nose. Some were vomiting blood. We fell to the ground, unable to move. Those 20 men without a single casualty killed hundreds of us. We had no way to compete with their technology and their weapons. I swear I've never seen anything like it. We wouldn't even stand up after the sonic weapon or whatever it was. So you think the rest of the region should think twice about confronting the American security guard? Without a doubt. I'm sending a warning to anyone who thinks they can fight the United States. They have no idea what they're capable of. After what I saw, I never want to see the other side of it again. They're not to be messed with. America, baby. You hear that, I-A-Hola? You hear that, I-A-Hola? You might be in some serious problems, I-A-Hola. By the way, this will make the I-A-Hola kind of think a little bit about what he's doing over there, putting up the meme with Trump in a casket and all that. Oil prices rise 3% after Trump cancels meetings with Iran. Tells protesters help is on the way. Ooh, baby. Isn't that amazing? I am so proud of my country. I am so proud of my country. I was a kid when Iran fell, and I could feel the heartbreak of the Iranian people then. We had no idea that 47 years of terror, 50,000 terror attacks, hundreds of Americans, tens of thousands of people, untold carnage from that evil SOB, those Ayatollahs, and we are about to witness history. I remember 1989. I remember, this was my first year in broadcasting. I remember the Berlin Wall. I remember then Tiananmen Square. And I told you that the Berlin Wall fell on Election Day 2024, and we would see glorious things. The Democrat Party can't find it within them to experience joy for the people of Venezuela, joy for the people of Iran when they are free, and they won't experience joy for Cuba. And you know what I say? Screw them. Let them disappear into the dustbin of history. If they can't handle freedom and joy, we all celebrated when the Berlin Wall. Now the Democrat Party will not celebrate, and they would rather have people live in bondage, and they'd rather have little girls having to be married at 11 years old, or murdered for showing their faces. The Democrat Party would rather see that because they can't see it. They live in their own world, and all they see is, I hate Donald Trump, and it's happening on his watch, so I have to say it's a bad thing. I'm not going there. We have a brilliant future, and we are witnessing history every single day. And every day I'm going to bring it to you in an epic fashion, and I'm going to overwhelm the left with joy and patriotism and faith. That's it. That's that. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. That was a lot.
Sending troops to Memphis, Tennessee, 'cause it looks like Memphis could use some help from me. The mayor has done nothing to put criminals away. Memphis needs our help, and they need it there today. The city's run by Democrats who defunded police. They can't do their jobs or maintain the peace. I'm sending in the guard. Memphis needs it bad. Their mayor, Paul Young, that guy's really sad. Voted the most dangerous place in the USA. Wouldn't want to live there. Wouldn't want to stay. Sending in the guard. That goal, it was mine. Democrats in Memphis, listen to them whine.
Trump's new borders are, we'll clean up the mess. The mess Kamala, she did not address. Open borders, he will abort. And illegals, he will deport. Thomas Homan, he will say no, man. You must go, man. Mexico, man, you're headed back. Thomas Homan, he's a former cop. Border jumpers, Tom is gonna stop. Used to be in charge of ICE. To illegals, Tom will not be nice. Thomas Homan, they ought to know, man. He's not a showman. Thomas Homan, we'll kick you out.
You better start packing now.
Thomas Homan, he is your foe, man. You've got to go.
CBM.
That would give Kool-Aid Powell the chance to give us a nice, beautiful, big rate cut, which would be great for the country, but rates are falling also, and growth is going up. We have tremendous growth numbers, so growth is going up. So I'll be talking about that today in Detroit. It's a big speech, and I can only say that the country's doing well. You saw my statement on Iran. You saw my statement on Minnesota. On Minnesota, we have taken out killers, rapists, drug dealers, people from mental institutions that came in illegally. All of them, most of them came in illegally.
Yep.
They're from other countries. They came in under the Biden ridiculous open border policy.
Yep.
And we've gotten a lot of them out. We just had numbers from Chicago, where Chicago crime has gone down pretty good. It could go down 100% virtually, but we're fighting with that governor who's so incompetent. But as you know, we took out a lot of killers, murderers, drug dealers, drug
D.C. is fantastic now.
addicts, mental institution
Really is.
people.
Something else.
And people from jails. We took them out of Chicago. So Chicago's got much better numbers now than it had.
Because they took all the agents, the FBI, out of that damn Hoover building and sent them out across the country.
A few months ago. We will get no credit for it, but these are minor details. Crime in Washington, D.C. is almost non-existent.
Crazy.
It's a safe place, so people can come bring their families. They can send their son and daughter to...
It is remarkable, actually. And I lived here for 12 years, 10 years ago. And I've never seen anything like it. It's just spotless. It's amazing. It is amazing what has happened in Washington, D.C. The Union Station, you can eat off the floor. You can eat off the floor. And the homeless encampments are gone, and the drug. And you know what? All it took was somebody to do something, right? All it took was somebody to do something. He talks about this Fed chair, Powell. He says billions of dollars over budget, so he's either incompetent or crooked. He's so many fronts to go on with this president, so many ways to make America great again. Here's your Prezi singing about Jerome Powell, the Fed chair. Jim Gossett, of course, playing the part of the president.
Mr. Chairman, Powell is through.
Bum, 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 bum.
The DOJ is coming after you.
I hope so.
You lied about the renovation.
You're a political scumbag.
You're gonna get a permanent vacation.
Hey.
Chairman.
Boom, boom, boom.
Powell should quit.
Boom, 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 boom.
He has proven that he's unfit.
Oh, sorry, never mind.
Should not serve another day. Jerome Powell, please go away. Chairman, Powell, you are toast.
Bum, bum, bum.
Your indictment, we want most.
Bum, 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 bum.
Hope you see this as a sign.
Yes.
Jerome Powell, you have crossed the line, Mr. Chairman. You should resign.
Yeah, and he's a political tool, by the way. Not even he's a worthless tool, actually. Not even, it's like one of those IKEA, wrenches they give you when you're assembling the wardrobe. You're only going to use them one time, and then afterwards it's just going to sit in your junk drawer. He's a worthless tool. And he manipulated the interest rates to lower them when Joe Biden was running for president. He's kept them artificially high to C-block Donald Trump in last fourth quarter and then also this presidency. But he's not going to be there much longer. He's not going to be there much longer. It's nice to have a president who does something like with regard to, Iran. You've got now the president saying no talks with Iran, and help is on the way. Help is on the way. And then last thing I saw is President Trump disappeared into a phone booth with his suit on, and then reappeared with a cape, wearing a big S on his chest, because Superman is back. Like Obama. Obama had a chance to free the Iranian people. They wanted to breathe free for many years. Barack Obama let them die. He let them die. Joe Biden let the Afghanis die. He let Afghan fall for political expediency, destroying the lives of millions of Afghani women, and also destroying the lives of a lot of people who gave every ounce of their being, some their lives in Afghanistan, fighting for 20 years in a war that should have never happened. But, of course, Joe Biden was so infirmed mentally, he didn't know that he was whizzing on the blood and treasure that we spent there, and those who came back to our country profoundly wounded mentally or physically. Ridiculous. And we've got Superman in the White House, and honestly, if the left doesn't like it, they can stick it. Here's Robert Greenway talking about Obama and what he did for the Ayatollah.
The economic dividend Obama essentially provided the Iranians was estimated about $100 billion, and that kept the regime alive. And in the 2009 Green Revolution protest, he not only failed to support, he rather provided access and placement and revenue to the regime that was oppressing its own people. So he did exactly the opposite. You're completely right.
Yeah. This is Lindsey Graham last night. I believe he was talking to Hannity about what we need to do in Iran. And again, there are a few things that I feel as passionately about this about. I want to see the Persian people be free. And I feel it, and we're going to witness history, and we should all be thrilled.
President Trump is standing with people demanding their freedom. Why are these people in the streets this long? They believe Trump has their back.
Yes.
President Trump said, if they come after you, they got to go through me.
Come on.
If you thought Afghanistan was a debacle, it was.
Yes.
The only thing worse would be to entice people out into the streets against a brutal dictator and pull the plug on them. To anybody at the White House who thinks the Ayatollah would honor a deal to give up his nuclear ambition, you're a fool.
Yep.
Donald Trump is not a fool.
Nope.
These people are out in the streets because they believe in Trump. He's the first president since 1979 to pick the people over the Ayatollah.
Come on.
And the leader of the Democratic Party, you're sick, pal. Where are the Democrats?
Yeah.
You cheer on Hamas who wants to kill the Jews. Now you got people in Iran like the Crown Prince who want to be our friend. But because it may happen on Trump's watch, you're belittling the movement.
That's what I said.
These people are dying by the thousands. We're Americans. You know, if this regime falls, we're safer. We're more prosperous.
Yep.
We'll take down the largest state sponsor of terrorism. Trump is Reagan. He's not Obama. He's not Ken Martin.
Yep.
You know, when Reagan went to the Berlin Wall, he didn't say, do you mind lowering the wall? He said, tear it down.
Yep, we are living in historic times, glorious times. Do not let the left get to you. We will overwhelm them with truth, with patriotism, with joy. And if that doesn't work, federal authorities. Yeah, with pepper balls and whatnot, and then handcuffs and whatnot. Let's take a break and come back. Last hour of the Rob Carson Show is right ahead. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson for Quince.com. Colder days mean layers, and your winter wardrobe may have you considering a winter reset. I went to a jazz club the other night wearing a Quince tee, another shirt over it, and a Quince wool jacket. A woman said, "You look fine." I mean, it blew me away. I've spent every dime for my kids and my wife for 25 years. Now I feel confident and I look good with Quince. I couldn't believe it. Quince has everything you need. Men's Mongolian cashmere sweaters, wool coats, leather, and suede outerwear. Each piece made with premium materials by trusted factories that meet rigorous standards. No middlemen means no traditional markups. The wool coat I wore to the jazz club the other night turned heads, cost less than I paid elsewhere. You can also find anything for your home, including kitchen, bath, and even for travel. Refresh your wardrobe at Quince. Go to quince.com/Newsmax. That's QUINCE.com/Newsmax for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Newsmax. That's quince.com/Newsmax.
Somalis are all on welfare, and the Dems just seem to not care. Ilhan Omar, she needs to go. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO. Many are anti-Semitic. Their statements have been pathetic. They're a threat to all you know. GTFO, GTFO, GTFO. They are always expressing hate of America. Why are they here? Must deport before it's too late. talk about holiday cheer. Our language, they will not learn it. Own money, refuse to earn it. They are gaming the system, so GTFO, GTFO, GTFO.
Hey guys, it's Carson for Relief Factor. You know, I saw an ad for Relief Factor a while back, and I saw a guy literally in tears with how he talked about the pain that he was experiencing was gone. It happened to me too. I started it taking a few months ago. My hip was really bothering me, and I wondered, because I'm the age of, replacement of joints and whatnot, if it could be better. And I started taking Relief Factor, and it healed. It's a 100% drug-free, research-based formula created to help your body's natural inflammatory response, the same one that causes everyday aches and pains from aging, exercise, overexertion, and just normal living. It helped me with my hip, my neck, my shoulders, all the places that remind you you're not 25 anymore. Relief Factor supports a healthy response to inflammation, helping you stay active and keep those joints and muscles feeling good. It's made with 4 key ingredients: omega-3 fatty acids, resveratrol, curcumin, and icariin, each one helping from a different angle. You can start with the 3-week quick start for just $19.95. That's less than a cup of coffee a day. So if you're tired of creaking like an old floorboard every time you move, give Relief Factor a try. Go to relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com and feel the difference. Relief Factor, because getting out of bed shouldn't count as a workout. The Nuge! The Nuge! All right, we know Scott Adams passed away. We knew Scott Adams' passing was coming, and he shared it with us. There, but by the grace of God go I. Here is his ex-wife with his final words today.
Trying to be strong. If you are reading this, things did not go well for me. I have a few things to say before I go. My body failed before my brain. I am of sound mind as I write this January 1st, 2026. If you wonder about any of my choices for my estate or anything else, please know I'm free of any coercion or inappropriate influence of any sort. I promise. Next, many of my Christian friends have asked me to find Jesus before I go. I'm not a believer, but I have to admit the risk-reward calculation for doing so looks so attractive to me. So here I go. I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior and look forward to spending an eternity with him. The part about me not being a believer should be quite quickly resolved if I wake up in heaven. I won't need any more convincing than that. I hope I'm still qualified for entry.
Of course you are. Of course you are. My mother, the most important thing in her life was that I and her kids made it to heaven with her. She made sure that I was in that front pew at St. Pat's Church every Sunday. It wasn't to be onerous. It was to save me. It was to save me. She had me baptized to save me. She taught me to believe to save me. She taught me to accept God and Christ to save me. It was the most important thing to her until her last day. And her last day that I spent with her was Mother's Day. And we were in her hospital room, and we had a member of the clergy there. And she, as the final prayer, said, I pray that you will take me and end my suffering. And that's when I went, okay, good. So her funeral wasn't tragic to me. It wasn't quite a celebration because I miss her greatly. I miss her every day. I mean, every day. I talk to her. And Scott Adams, welcome to it, brother. I mean, what an amazing thing to leave us with. That was a gift to us, I think, right? Wasn't it a gift to us? I think it was a gift. So sorry about that. A little bit choked up here. I don't know Scott Adams, but you know, it's a pretty classy way to go out, wouldn't you say? Pretty classy way to go out. And I'm not saying you need to be Christian. I'm just saying, you know, there is no doubt there is a good and evil. There's a yin and yang. There is a reaction to the action. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt. In my mind, not one little bit. There's no doubt that there is a creator, that we're not just here. We don't just show up. We're not just balls of whatever. We just stumble through this existence. One thing is true. We all are presented with this life, and we are born into it without choice. And then not soon thereafter, we find out it's going to end. I remember when I found it was going to end. I was 4 years old. And I ran home to Mom. And it's something we all think about. And so, you know, like, for me, like in my life, and I heard Rogan talking about this. He was talking to Shane Gillis, and Shane Gillis was, 20 years younger. And he said, Shane, man, this next 20 years you're going through is going to go so fast. It's going to go so fast. And you're going to wake up and you go, whoa. And this is where I've woken up. You know, I expected marriage, children stay together, grandchildren come and visit a home that we were together and have Christmas together and all that. Didn't happen. But you're all going to get to, 2-minute warning, fourth quarter. You're all going to get to 2-minute fourth quarter. Many of you won't. Unfortunately, Charlie Kirk didn't get there. But if you do, it makes you realize 2-minute warning, fourth quarter. Are we going to win like the Bears did last weekend? Are we going to come from behind? Maybe we're behind a little bit. Maybe we don't have a retirement ready. Maybe we don't have our lives in order. Maybe we are unhealthy. Maybe we are broken mentally, physically, and spiritually. Well, if you're going into the fourth quarter, you might want to up your game. You might want to change that game if you want to live. And exit like that man did. He exited too early. He did. God bless him. All right. Let's move on. I'm done being philosophical today. I think it was quite a philosophical conversation. I hope you don't mind it. I enjoy talking about things like this. And as I began doing long-form podcasting in the studio, which is what I'm going to do. That's why I moved to Washington, D.C. That's why I spent a whole bunch of my own money to build this studio here, because I wanted to explore all the things. My mother had a never-ending curiosity. She taught it to me to be able to talk to anyone about anything and I could talk to anybody. If you're a nuclear physicist, I could talk to you. If you're a baker, I could talk to you. If you're a whatever, I could talk to you because I am hungry for knowledge. I thirst for it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Drink deeply from the chalice of life. Gold and silver surge will hit record highs amid Fed Chair Powell investigation. That's one headline from Forbes. Here's another headline. Hold on. There's all sorts of them. Gold prices surged to yet another record high. The top gold stock could keep climbing in 2026. Don't believe me? Well, gold's just shy of $4,600 an ounce. It was $2,600 an ounce about a year ago. So there you go. Silver is almost $88. Silver is $88. If you're a first-time gold buyer, Birch Gold is offering a rebate up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. To claim eligibility and start the process, text my name, Rob, to 989898. You want to roll that existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, you're still eligible for a rebate up to $10,000, but you better get on it. You better get on it because gold is surging, silver is surging, and the world is an uncertain place. So it's a good opportunity for you to take advantage of the situation. California has a billionaire's tax they're doing. Now, let me explain the billionaire's tax real quickly. It is there is no rhyme or reason to it, okay? It is only about theft. That's it. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's going at what people have accrued after taxes. They've already been taxed on it. People have already been taxed on these earnings. It was like the idiocy of taxing Social Security income. It's double jeopardy. But the California trillion tax is California is screwed financially because of piss poor management. So California is just going to steal from you to cover their own mistakes. That's like your drug addict son stealing money out of your purse to pay for another hit. I mean, it's exactly what it is. There's absolutely, if I could honestly say anything about it, that is exactly what it is. It's your drug addicted kid stealing money without you knowing about it to cover their fix. That's what's happening in California. Kevin Kiley.
But let's just assume first, for the sake of argument, that this actually were to work as intended, and you had these billionaires who suddenly had 5% of their net worth confiscated. Well, is that actually going to solve California's problems?
Nope.
No, it's not going to solve California's problems. All it's going to do is create more opportunities for fraud. We know this because over 5 years of Gavin Newsom's governorship, total revenue, tax revenue in California, the total budget increased by $124 billion.
Yeah.
And yet everything got worse in the state.
Yeah.
We continue to lead the nation in poverty, in unemployment, in homelessness, in illiteracy, and a lot of other areas where you don't want to lead the nation. And so the way to solve the problems we have in California is to reform our government, not to simply try to extract yet more tax.
Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. early dinner sometimes. I think others have found that would be cool.
All right. Well, I think everyone knows by now Bill Clinton did not show up. And I think it's important to note that this subpoena was voted on in a bipartisan manner by this committee. This wasn't something that I just issued as chairman of the committee. This was voted on by the entire committee in a unanimous vote of the House Oversight Committee to subpoena former President Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton.
Yes.
Now, Hillary Clinton's supposed to show up tomorrow. We'll see what happens there. But with respect to the former president, he did not show up today. One reason I think most Americans want President Clinton to answer some questions
it's because he's a lying scumbag.
Is because he visited the White House. Jeffrey Epstein visited the White House 17 times.
Yeah.
While Bill
See the pictures of him in the hot tub with kids?
It was president.
I mean, the young women?
Yeah. I've been in Congress 9 years. I think I've been to the White House 9 times in 9 years. Epstein was in the White House double the amount of time.
And he kind of had a penchant for young women. I don't know if you knew this. Had a pretty serious dry cleaning bill, except for one blue dress got away. Going to be held in contempt of Congress. We'll see. I'd love to go. Oh, I'd love to see Hillary Clinton go to jail for a month. Oh, my God. Wouldn't it be glorious? You know what? It has to happen, but it probably won't. You know, they're willing to put Donald Trump in prison the rest of his life, rather than him die in prison. But, boy, I tell you what, Republicans would never do that to a Democrat. Well, damn it, it's tired of it. By the way, Iranian death toll surpasses 12,000 innocents is what Citizen Free Press is saying. It's time to do something, drop something. Send a missile up Ayatollah's, Millions are turning into Newsmax, by the way. That's the network I do my TV show, Rob Carson's What in the World on. They are also got a streaming channel, Newsmax 2, all right? Reuters Institute says one of the most top brands in news around the nation every night. Watch Rob Schmidt. Love me some Rob Schmidt. He's so handsome. Stop it. Carl Higby, Rob Finnerty. Brilliant Rob Finnerty. And more as they expose the media big lies, the Washington swamp, and we don't betray our conservative beliefs. Make the switch. Join the Newsmax revolution. Get Newsmax on cable, on streaming. Download the free app today. It starts in seconds. President Trump loves Newsmax. He said, I'm the funniest guy on television because of what Newsmax does. And Newsmax is, honestly, Chris Ruddy and Newsmax is a fairy tale. Just brilliant. Brilliant. We were talking earlier about the billionaire's tax in California. It's your drug-addicted son stealing money out of your bank account to cover his addiction. That's what is going on there, because the California Democrats. And have you noticed that Gavin Newsom hadn't been as vocal lately? It's because they're ready to crawl up his rear end because of all the massive fraud in his state. There's a woman named Gloria Romero who's running for lieutenant governor. I want you to listen to the management of this state, and most recently the absolute ball drop on the Palisades fire, allowing the Palisades fire to happen, and then 12,000 homes burned down, and thus far not even a dozen have been rebuilt. There is no state more corrupt than California. Gavin Newsom is a scumbag piece of crap. And the Democrat Party has been looting our treasury to the tune of trillions of dollars. Gloria Romero.
I'm Gloria Romero. I'm a Republican, and I'm running for Lieutenant Governor of California. In the last few years under Gavin Newsom and Democrats, we've seen $250 billion of waste, fraud, and abuse. $18 billion for a bullet train, zero tracks.
Yeah.
$24 billion to end homelessness. Can't tell us where it went. $32 billion in unemployment cash, stolen. Meanwhile, California leads the nation in poverty, food, gas, housing, energy. Only half our kids can read and write at basic levels of proficiency. California has been totally run by Democrats for 16 years. They fail us every day. As Ronald Reagan said when he left the Democrats to become a Republican, I didn't leave the party. They left me.
Yeah, same thing's happening going in states around the country. I'm concerned. I moved to Virginia. They elected a Democrats. Another Karen is going to be in the House or in the governor's mansion, and they could easily tilt Virginia into being unlivable like the state of Maryland under a very corrupt governor named Wes Moore. And Maryland's about to get a rectal probe, too. All of the bullcrap they've done. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that I'm more than ready to show evidence Governor Newsom is being investigated for a criminal scheme involving the registration of illegal immigrants to vote through his universal mail-in ballot program. Mother thinks all hitting the fan. The feces is hitting the fan. It's what we waited for. And if I could deliver a message to those in power, it's time for people to be led away in handcuffs. It's time for those who have stolen from us to spend some time in jail. It's time for those who put our prisoners in jail on January 6th to replace them in those jail cells. It is time for people to pay for what they've done. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need some.
All right. Streamers. How are you? Contempt of Congress is trending on Twitter. I would love to see that harpy from hell, Hillary Clinton, go to jail. God, could you imagine? Could you imagine? Wouldn't it be amazing? Wouldn't it be amazing? Donald Trump is speaking in Detroit. I would stream it, but can't do it right now because I'm on the radio. I'm on the radio. Oh, let's see who's watching. I'm scrolling down through Twitter to try to get to the feed here. There it is. There we go. Got a lot of people watching on Twitter. Let's move over to Rumbly Roo. Crunk 1952. Hello, Dookie Bear. What's going on? You guys are all over it, man. All over it right now. Hope you're enjoying each conversation that you have on Rumble, on Facebook, and on YouTube, America Marcy, Deplorable Dinosaur, and whatnot. I can't wait to move out of California. This state sucks. Deplorable Dinosaur. I can't believe you're still there. Honestly, just what a terrible thing that they could turn Eden into hell. I mean, they've done it. They're doing it all over the country. I would have moved back to Maryland, but I wouldn't live in Maryland again. You know, it's insane. The Maryland General Asylum, they're insane. By the way, I'm headed back to the capital of Maryland tonight to watch a music show. Kind of excited about it. Chris Schwab, hello. I think good things are coming. I really do. Carol Leftwich, good to see you. About time for me to talk again here. What am I going to have here? Hold on. Target guy. Oh, yes. Here we go. Time to talk. Rage against the machine. Words to live by.
And all of this, by the way, comes on top of the incredible fraud and waste and mismanagement that we already knew about. The high-speed train where there's been no track laid in 17 years, spending $18 billion. The $32 billion during COVID.
You remember what I said, that nothing ever gets fixed? Nothing ever gets fixed. We have people who move to Washington, D.C., spend their entire lives telling us to live ours, and they never fix anything. Joe Biden was in Washington, D.C. for 50 years. The same things that still plague us are still broken. Now we know why. Because they were robbing us freaking blind. They were robbing us blind. You and I suffered. You and I are suffered so badly, particularly the last 4 years. It was hell. East Coast and West Coast academics, they had no clue. The government workers who left during COVID and 94% who didn't come back, you had no clue how much we were suffering. I mean, working 2 or 3 jobs, working ourselves to death. And then in New York City, you've got a woman who's in charge of rent who says that, oh, white people are privileged. You know what? There are a lot of white, by the way, white people means Irish and English and German and Latvian and Swiss. And I can go on. And they do the heavy lifting. And they don't ask for much. And they don't really complain very much. And they occasionally might get a little domicile that they might die in. But the left even considers that to be too much. Bullcrap. So done. This is going to be a change for so much good. We have to stay positive. We have to stay positive. We have to stay patriotic. This is an audio from a man who stopped a police officer in Minneapolis and prayed with him.
want to say thank you for what you're doing. So we're praying for everybody, but also for you, and just thank you. I know it's not easy. We're not taking sides in any of this, but we know that it has not been easy for you guys. So it's your protection. Your blessing covers Andrew. Thank you for his countenance, Lord. Just bless him and keep him safe. And Lord, we pray for a turning, that there would be love between the people and the officers. In Jesus' name.
Right,
beautiful.
So, I said that 80% of us believed the country was headed in the wrong direction before the election. 80% of us could come together to save her. I still believe that. 80-20 is what's happening. 80% of us believe what ICE is doing is great. 20% are doing the bull crap. 10% of those, no, actually 15% are telling the 5% who are willing to go stand in front of police cars and cause violence what to do. Guess what? We're going to win. We are going to win. I feel it in my heart and soul. We are destined to be here. We came here at this time in history together. We arrived here after many slings and arrows, after many abuses and usurpations, and we are going to win. And freedom and patriotism and faith are sweeping the globe. God bless and God free the people of Iran, the Persian people, then Cuba, and then the rest of the world, and then America. Thank you very much. God bless you. America has founded Donald Trump and what he's doing for this great country. And until tomorrow, which just happens to be Hump Day, do not catch the stupid. I'll see you then.
All right, Rob, you have a good night.
All right.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real